Hello everybody, this is Prakash Shetty here and with my better half.
This is Praveena Shetty. Long time no see
Yeah,
on YouTube.
we have been missing out for quite some time. So we are back again.
No matter how much we think, we are unable to make because we are not the kind of consistent people who make videos. But sometimes in life there are some changes that we would like to share with all the viewers. And that's the reason we bought this video. Prakash has just completed 10 days Vipassana, which was the center was just about 10 minutes away from here, and actually I felt that the center came for Prakash. So we would like to ask him about the Vipassana, whatever experience he had, how he felt about it, for the knowledge of our viewers. Over to you, Prakash.
Yeah. So Praveena was behind me for a long time that you should do Vipassana. So I said no. I was very skeptical. Okay, whether I'll be able to do this. 10 days. And all those things. All those. You start building up before you actually get into anything. So the build up was too huge for me. It was like something that I couldn't chew. So I said, I'll do it later on. When I am ready, I'll tell you. And I somewhere in my mind thought I'll never be ready and I'll never be, telling her that I want to go. But off late, what happened? I found myself in a rut. Kind of, overthinking about things. Too much. This thing. You try to, you get used to your daily routine so much. That you are with devices. You're looking at, YouTube. You're looking at other things. All those things taking up. And then you're not able to break free. So the thought was coming to me, I should do something that will, sort of put me out of all this, put me in a shell somewhere, and I get away from all this, and I can come back and then realign everything according to how I want it to be. So what happened after that? Praveena got a message
out of the blue.
Yeah, and she, the people from the Goa Vipassana Trust, they contacted her that, they wanted volunteers. So they were looking for sevaks to come and, help them. So, and then, we saw that it has come about, it's about 10-15 kilometers from here, which is about maximum about 15 to 25 minutes, depending on, what speed you go at. At an average of 50-60 kilometers per hour, you can make it about 15-20 minutes. So we decided that, she said, do you want to go? And I instantly said yes.
Yeah.
And after saying yes, I just went to the site, started filling the form, everything. I submitted the form, and then, it was too late. I think it was like the 1st of January or something like that,
Correct.
It was almost like,
And 4th was
and
the
4th
program.
was the program, it was going to start on the 4th, that it was the day when you get in, and the actual program will start from 5th, but you have to report at about 2 o'clock, to the center and, register and do all the formalities and understand the rules and all those things.
Which website did you go?
It was dhamma.org. You go there and then you select which place you want, if you're staying in, say, Mumbai,
Yeah.
like, and you look around Mumbai, where it is happening. If you're in, say, Pune, or if you're in some, other state or other place, you might look at, the location wise. So you'll find whatever is closest and, what are the dates and what are the, status of the whole thing. It will show you, whether it is like, open or, it is closed or, it is like,
For old students,
old
new
students, new
women,
students,
volunteers.
Yeah, so all those kind of things.
So you checked in for the Goa thing.
Yeah, so I filled up the form and everything and I submitted,
Yeah.
So I thought, then I got another this thing, mail from them asking me to upload my Aadhaar card,
Yeah.
for their this thing. As an Indian national, we have to upload Aadhaar card. For foreign
Yeah.
nationals, they have to give passport and all those things. They have to carry their passport and, fill up a form and give photographs and all those things are there. For us Indians, we just have to, upload our Aadhaar card.
Okay.
So I did all that, and then we were waiting,
Waiting,
waiting out, Praveena meanwhile contacted the, main person who's organizing for Goa Vipassana Trust. So we got no response, it was nothing was coming through, I was checking my mail all the time, it was like I wanted to go, I was desperate, looking at, okay, it will come, it will come, it will come, And then what happened, there are 3 programs, in this first quarter, which is first was in Jan, then there is one in Feb, and then there is another one in March. But the Feb one was cancelled. So it was like I had to wait it out till, I fill up the form for March and when they will, send me a confirmation, all those kind of things. So I was a bit desperate, thinking that I'll get, I'll maybe, And it did happen. So fourth morning I got up, I checked, I said, now though it is impossible that today is, the day when it begins, and I don't think so I'm going to get anything. Then after that, I think Praveena got a call and a message from this thing that I think he has been selected, so you check is this thing, mail and all.
Just 2 hours before.
Just 2 hours before, so I was not looking at my mail or anything like that, so then I checked my mail and yes, there was the confirmation, and so I immediately we started packing my bags, whatever we could put together, because she has gone there before, so she knows what exactly you need, and they also give you a list of what you should be carrying.
And I made a small video on how to pack for Vipassana, so I was referring to that while he was getting fresh and getting ready to go. I was checking that YouTube channel video of mine. I'll send the link. I'll put the link in the first comment if you want to see, but I was referring to that video of mine to pack his things.
So she packed all the clothes, whatever, we dumped everything into this thing. Then, the bag wouldn't close. So then we took another extra bag, and sort of a cloth bag, and then put all the, other things, which we couldn't fit inside the bag into that.
Yeah.
And then I, went and put it on my bike, and then, I straight away, went there.
Yeah.
So once I went there, they had the, registration counter and all. So, I had reached about 10 minutes before or something like that, from the registration time of 2 p.m., That is the last reporting time that you have to come in, because they have to know who's coming and who's not coming. Some people just fill the form and, don't even inform them they are not coming. So, but there were a lot of people. So there were about, of course I didn't know at that time because I didn't get a head count, but later on I knew 27 men and 21 women, which included some foreign nationals, and all the foreign nationals were Germans.
Yeah.
So this was quite a coincidence, and none of them were related to each other or they had come together, nothing like that. All had come separately, and all the foreign nationals were Germans.
And youngsters, you were saying.
And then I thought, when I was going, I thought that everybody will be of our age, now we have to get into spiritualism, all those kind of things, as people think, as you get old, you get into spiritualism, where youngsters are bothered. And I was like, amazed to see that the only people who were above 50 were either the old ones who had come for a repeat this thing, and they were like, there were about 4 or 5 of them, who were senior kind of. And me and another gentleman were the only ones who had come for the first time, who were
above 50.
Above 50. And then, everyone out there, all of them were 20, 21, 25, 28, all below 30. None of them were above 30 out of that.
So millennials and Gen Z.
And I was amazed to see, the youngsters are really, because we always keep complaining the youngsters are not, doing anything, they are more like into, all this kind of, modern lifestyle. And to see them come back, to this kind of a program and take all the effort of traveling, down to Goa, taking a bus and, taking a cab and everything, and coming down to the center. And this is at the south end of Goa.
Yeah.
Okay, this is almost like 10
Karwar.
kilometers before the Goa border.
Yeah.
So it was like almost Goa Karnataka border. So they were all there, and then there were 2 pregnant women who were who had come to attend the program. And I was like a bit aghast, thinking that how can they manage 10 days of this solitude, kind of where you are not communicating with anyone, because the rules are very clear. You can't, you have to deposit your phone, you can't speak to anyone, you cannot even have eye contact with anyone. So you're supposed to look down when you're walking, and you cannot have eye contact, no, reciprocation, smiling at each other, nothing you can do. So you are in your own shell, like, for the 10 days, and the program starts at 4:30. 4 o'clock you have to get up, get ready and everything. 4:30 you have to be in the meditating hall. They call it the Dhamma hall, which is the meditation place where everybody collects and everybody has a separate seat.
How many hours of meditation per day?
Every day it starts at about 4:30 and then it ends up at about 9:30 in the
around
night.
12.5 hours of meditation.
Yeah, 12.5 hours of meditation completely, more than 12.5 hours, I think, it's about
1 hour of lecture.
Yeah, 16 hours, and plus you get about 1 hour eating,
yeah.
So, if you calculate all that, maybe about 12.5 hours, to actual. And then you have to be sitting on the floor with, in cross-legged, in Sukhasan, and there is no, this thing. The chairs are only provided to people who really have an ailment problem.
What if filled in the form? They
Yeah,
said,
when you fill the form, you can ask for those things,
Yes.
But then you have to be really ailing for them to give it to you. Otherwise, it's like, everybody will want a chair.
And you are a person who never sat cross-legged.
Yeah, and I had never sat cross-legged for probably 50
10
years of
days.
my life, maybe 5-6 years, or maybe a bit more than that. But that is all that I can remember when I would have sat cross-legged.
Yeah.
We were always on the chair, eating
Yeah.
out on the table, or something like that. We never sit on the floor. Even our commodes are all the Western commodes, where we don't squat down also.
Yeah.
So it was quite, because I went in, the first thing was what? When I went in, I thought, chalo, you get a room and all. When I go, the room is also sharing. Like, there are 2 people in that room. And we are so used to living, in our own room, or, have a separate room. When we book anything, we go anywhere, we book a room for ourselves.
Yeah.
So then I had another gentleman who was a veteran in this. He had done more than 80 Vipassana, this thing, 10-day, sessions.
From Germany.
From Germany. And he has done on his own a lot more.
Yeah.
And he also comes to India and he goes to the Dudhsagar Falls in the mountain and sits there, for 10 days or 20 days, of doing Vipassana. So
And he has written a book also.
And he has written a book known as Rock and Roll Vipassana.
Rock and Roll
So
Vipassana.
basically it's like, his rock and roll kind of, what you call, journey through Vipassana.
80 times is not a joke.
Yeah, it's not a joke.
And he said 80 times and then he's lost count of it.
Yeah, he said, I really can't count, because I stopped counting, after some time, because I was doing so many of them, it was,
Yeah.
I couldn't track everything.
That's something.
And he was like, and he sort of, gave me a brief, ki, you cannot look in now we are meeting, we can, fold hands and, greet each other and all those things. But in an hour's time, we will not be talking to each other.
Yeah.
We cannot make eye contact. You cannot touch me. I cannot touch you. So we are not even supposed to touch each other. If you have to say something or anything, you have to make, gestures. And,
Or wake you up also, so you can't do like
you
this.
can't tap somebody to wake them up. You have to, move the bed sheet or, move the bed,
Yeah.
for them to,
Yeah.
come. So the rules were quite clear. He said, this is because we don't want that energy to, be transferred to each other. And, that was one of the primary reasons. And the second thing, he said, the main other big reason is that you remain in your own shell. You don't sort of, you live as if you are living alone. That is how you are supposed to do this. But since people can't do this on their own for 12 hours in their homes and things like that, because there's so many other disturbances happening, so they have to come to this center. So then he said, we'll be starting, and then, he explained what is the first 3 days, why you do, particular kind of, exercise in the first 3 days, which sort of, it is like sharpening the knife
Yeah.
in the first 3 days, and then on the 4th day, you go into surgery. You start, cutting out, all the, what do you call, the vibes that you have collected over the period of time from your, system out.
In Yoga Sutras, they call it kleshas.
Yeah.
So whatever, like,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
baggage basically.
So whatever is there, all the negativity, all the, kind of this thing, aversions, the kind of, attachments and all those ego, everything, is cleared one by one. And the whole concept is really very scientific, it's nothing of mumbo jumbo, it's not some, you say some mantras or something like that, and, it will get to this thing. And you're not supposed to, take any, when you're meditating also, you can't take names or, can't remember someone and meditate or, count or do anything like that.
And
The
not
fo-
changing others also. It's just being
Yeah.
aware of your own.
Yeah. You just have to be aware about yourself, and aware of the breath. The
Yeah.
whole idea is to be in the now. The breath is the now. Because what has gone out as a breath is over, and what is gone in is, now become past.
So you were there for 10 days. What was challenging, you feel?
For 10 days, I felt the biggest first challenge was to, be alone. Okay, on your own, like, you're not, able to communicate to anyone. That was a big challenge, because the first time we walked out, we would, look at each other, and try to smile, and then the other person would put a, kind of,
Straight face.
straight poker face, and walk through, then you have to understand, oh, I'm not supposed to do this,
Yeah.
so that was one of the challenges.
Okay.
Then the other big challenge came to me was that I had to sit on the floor.
Yeah.
with, legs crossed, which was like an impossible task. I thought, this is going to kill me in some time. I'm not going to be able to, do this for, and then you have to sit for hours. It's
I think
not
they
even,
should give chairs because the
yeah,
lifestyle
but
today
the
demands
whole thing
it. I
is,
feel.
it's like, indirectly they also exercise you. It's like, you say that, meditation is just, relaxation. It's in this case, it is about, coming out of
Challenging.
all the challenges, and focusing what is, more critical for you. It's not the body ache, it's not the comfort and all those things. It's the other things that are ailing you as, mental, issues that you're facing, the pressure, the, kind of social this thing, all those things, you have to address that. So sitting on the floor is just a inconvenience that hardly matters to you at that moment. You're there for something else.
It is, I feel, like swimming. You cannot learn when you're drowning. Swimming has to be learned before.
Yeah.
Meditation also has to be learned before.
Yeah.
You are in a great turbulent type of life, because life is always up with ups and downs. So meditation really helps, and Vipassana is no mumbo jumbo, directly attack, directly go to meditation and calm your mind. So do you think that it is a tool that has helped you, and what is the change that was that you saw, which was not there before? Like, what is the before and after you? Has it changed?
See, I would be very reactive to things. If something would happen, something wrong is happening in front of me, or somebody is doing something, which I don't like, I would react immediately. But, during the whole process, I saw that, humility came automatically to me. When people were doing something wrong to me also, I was not reacting. I was not feeling like, I should say something, or, show them that this is wrong, you're not doing it, in the right way, or, I don't like it, and all those kind of things. Those kind of things, slowly fade away in you. So slowly you become more, aware of what you're doing. You're very much,
Inner demons.
Yeah, you just want to keep your peace. You want to be in the now, that you want to just enjoy that moment. You don't want somebody disrupting that moment for
like
you.
you're protecting
and taking
your
you
equilibrium.
off. Yeah. So they are not putting you off balance. If it's like, you come and tell me something, I go off balance, I start reacting, or, I, suddenly go into depression, or, anything like that. You might go either ways, on both sides of the spectrum. So those things don't happen. You see something and you're like, okay, it's fine. There are inconvenience happening. You see something, they're serving something and they are not giving it to you. You're not getting it, or somebody, jumped the queue and has come in between, and like, he goes in, without them also realizing that you are standing there. So these are things that will tick you off. In the normal this thing, you will say, excuse me, can you, come in queue. But there it was like, okay, you just move behind. I felt, 4-5 days I could, feel that, I'm not a person like that. I would never, be like that. I had put somebody right in their place as soon as they sort of, violate that, space. So here I was making space for them, saying, okay, fine, it's your this thing, okay, fine, enjoy it, not a problem. So all the small things, started changing in me without me even realizing that I'm making those changes. It is effortless. It is not that, you are trying something special, you're doing it, and it was so, this thing, when I could feel those changes, I started, believing more and more in the program. And I strongly advocate that everybody should at least find 10 days and do it once. Do it again, keep on doing it, that's a different point, but at least do it once, so you understand what tools are available, which were made thousands of years ago, by Gautam Buddha, and it has been given to everyone to use. It's not like if you are, you belong to a particular caste, a particular sect, or, particular financial status, that you can use this tool. This tool is available for anyone and everyone, including all ages, all, sexes, whatever, whatever your preferences are, everything is kept aside, and it is available. And there is no what you call religious attachments to this. There is nothing that you have to do this, you have to do a particular ritual, or you have to bow down. There is no system of even bowing down to the person who's teaching to you. Even that is not allowed. So any mantra and all those kind of things, there is nothing. It's purely about controlling your breath, controlling your whole body. That's the whole process.
Observing, basically.
Just being observant of what's happening, and keeping everything out of your this thing. Being untouched by whatever is happening around you, to get into that state where you get one-pointedness, kind of, that you are at one point, rather than, being all over the place, like. So even when I started, it was like all over the place for me. But later on, it became.
It is such a well-oiled program, and I was surprised when Prakash said that he started inquiring about 30 days program. That was a major,
Yeah, I
shocker
just,
to me.
there was this sevak who had done, who had done a lot of seva, and
Ah.
also I was, I heard because one of her friends is doing a 30-day this thing.
Yeah.
So I asked him, can I go for 30 days? He said, no, you cannot go from 10 days to 30 days. You need
And
to
that
do
was
it.
from a person who didn't want
Yeah,
to do it.
initially who wouldn't even like. I'll tell you very strongly. Even if somebody had said, "Nah, it is a morning to evening program, let's go," I wouldn't have gone. I was so averse to this.
Yeah.
Saying that I don't want to do it. I don't need it. Kind of, I'm so stubborn about it. I thought, why do I need it? I don't have a problem. Why do I have to go for all this? What is the need? It's like somebody telling you go for a CT scan. It's like that. Why I have to go there? I don't have a problem. I'm not facing any challenges.
Yeah.
And not that now also I was facing a challenge. It was just a log jam. You felt that, there is nothing coming out. It's just, I'm in that same loop, and you're stuck somewhere and you're stuck with devices. You're checking your mail, you're checking your, messages, you're checking social media, you're looking at YouTube, so all this thing. So I wanted to see whether when I keep everything out, can I survive? Without her being around, without somebody, giving me all the food and everything, what I want, my preferable food, what is to be cooked. Nobody's asking me. The food was excellent. There was no doubt about that. But the point is that nobody's asking you, what do you want to eat today? There is no a la carte kind of, thing that you want. You'll say, okay, fine, today let's, make this, and I want this for breakfast, this for lunch, and this for dinner, Nothing like that. Whatever is served, you take it. And there are 3 meals in a day. One in the morning is a tea break. Then you have afternoon lunch, evening again tea and some, kurmura, rice, puffed rice. That's all you get. There is no dinner, nothing. So you have to eat whatever you want to
But you
eat
don't
in
feel
this.
hungry, right?
Absolutely.
There's enough food.
You are exhausted. You have to eat well, because I felt, why do I need to eat more? But then I realized that your brain consumes so much of energy doing this, that initially your mind is running around, like, you are holding it all the time, you are getting back, it is frustrating you at times, why is that happening, why I'm getting other thoughts, which I should not be getting, why I'm getting angry at things, internally, why I'm frustrated with, certain things, and I'm just venting my frustration on everyone and anyone. It's not even that I'm venting my frustration on one person, there's one person that I don't like. It was going on, even I started hating on her. And I was thinking, like, what is going on? What is my mind playing games with me? So then I understood the mind is such a, what do you call, kind of a funny creature, it just goes on, trying to build things, which you are not there. It's just playing around, it's like a naughty child running around, which you're trying to, grab, and he's like pulling this, pulling that, kind of, removing anything and everything in that room. It was like that. My mind was all over the place. Then slowly, I started pushing it back, every time, I just started focusing on what was the task at hand, and then as soon as the mind went away, it's like a rat, it goes somewhere, you just hold it, bring it back, keep it in the center, So that way, it comes to, from you are all over like this, to, it slowly, it comes to one dot, you know where it is, that point is where what you call your weapon is sharp.
Anchoring, basically.
Yes, you anchor it to one.
I think you after the second day onwards, you started following instructions so well.
Yeah.
And it is not that it is total silence. There is proper instruction. It's a guided meditation program. So it is not that you're not going to listen to any sound bites.
Yeah. You listen to sound bites. There are,
Teachers.
what you say, the sayings of, Buddha in Pali. Of course, you will not be able to understand
Which
anything
goes
until
on,
you can read. Until you can read, and understand Pali. Maybe then you can understand what is being said. But those are just to keep you in the meditating mode. They say those are played not as a mantra or something like that. That it has some magical properties which will, give you more power. Nothing like that. It is just that you are in a meditating mode, and this is Lord Buddha's, writings which are being recited. So that you get that message. Kind of.
And
to
there are
keep you in there.
well-trained teachers also. If you have any obstacles too.
Yeah, the teachers are really good. You can approach them, you can talk to them if you're facing difficulties, if you're having issues, or you're facing some other issues, See, first of all, they don't allow people who have, what you call, issues for which they are taking medications, for mind
Difficult
related,
ones,
this thing and all. If they're on medication and all, they don't take you in, because it can be very difficult for such people,
Yeah.
So they ask you right at the beginning whether you are taking any medications like that, all those things. So you have to answer that in the form, and you have to be true to what you are answering. Don't just do it because you
Yeah.
want to go there and you sort of cheat through, and because you will be in trouble.
Yeah.
Believe me, you will be in trouble. There I have seen one person get into trouble right in this thing,
Yeah.
because he sort of did something which was not prescribed. They're very clear.
Yeah.
And don't try to mix what you call different type of meditation processes, or fine, I'll say some mantras in between, or I have learned this in another meditation program, I'll incorporate that into this. They say that when you're doing this, you do only this.
So they just follow the instructions.
Yes,
basically.
yes, you have to follow everything and be truthful about what you're and don't do anything that they have said not to do.
Yeah, what is the cost of doing all this, like financial?
The biggest, this thing is that you don't have to pay a single rupee. You get accommodation, you get food, you get training, and a well-oiled program. Nothing is like left out. Kind of that haphazardly maintained. Nothing. Everything is so perfect that you'll start thinking, how much will you pay for such a program, for staying 10 days, getting 3 meals a
Priceless.
day, and getting instruction from people who have worked years to be there, So as they say, you cannot say, I want to become a teacher. It seems, that you cannot say, I want to become a teacher. They select you when you are ready, that they will observe and they'll find that this person is ready, and they will invite you into the program.
It is run on donation. Actually, it is the program's main principle is that somebody is donating for you to do meditation. So you donate forward.
Yeah, you pay it forward kind of this fundamental, that you pay whatever you want to pay. It could be anything from 500 rupees or 100 rupees or 10 rupees to, whatever, lakhs of rupees if you, feel like that, that you want to give it to them, and they just run this program, and there is no religious attachment in this, nothing, that, they are trying to inculcate some religion or some following into you. There is nothing. They are anti all this, kind of, beliefs and all this kind of system. So it doesn't matter any religion. If you belong to a particular religion, that you can't do it. It's not like that. It is open to everyone, and there is no religion or, what you call any cult or, this thing attached to it.
So you're ready for volunteering also, you said, right?
I gave up my name to them. I said, if you're, they said, we are looking for volunteers. I said, you take down my number. They were collecting numbers of people who were, nearby, who could come and help them. I said, whenever you're running a program, I'll always be here to help you, whether it is even sweeping, mopping, swabbing, whatever is needed, I'll come and do it. It doesn't matter, because such a, beneficial program, I think, means, I think, we have to do things, isn't it? We cannot expect other people to work and we get free benefits, There's no free lunch in this world, you'll have to pay it back somewhere. So, why not pay it back to the very system that is helping you?
Prakash, I feel that the millennials and the Gen Z, Gen Alpha, they're all very smart. They're going to do it. Do you recommend it to people of our age? They are the ones that are not doing it.
Yeah, that's just, I was very surprised, because I thought it would all be seniors who will, who will have come to that point where they start believing in the system and they think that, we should be doing all.
Surprising. They're like superb.
It's nothing. It's like, you probably go to one of these holy places and you'll find all the senior people, most of them. And just imagine you go to a holy place and, like dip into a river or maybe a church or anything like that, and you'll find, youngsters, over there filled with youngsters. It will be so surprising. You'll start thinking, how come these guys have arrived here? Is there something else going on here that I'm not seeing? These guys are going to enjoy that.
It's amazing, youngsters.
And they are enduring it. They are doing it. Not even 1% dropped out from the youngster. There were 2 dropouts, and both of them were senior guys. And the youngsters endured it till the last moment.
Easy.
On the last day also, they were still there. When I left, the youngsters were still sitting around, talking about, what they got, how they sort of, and trying to, tell each other how they sort of, did it, and all
we
those
really
things.
have to learn a lot
And
from them.
none of these boys and girls are all this, that you might look at them and say, oh, youngsters, this might be the religious types, or the, kind of people who are like, inke ghar mein hi ye chalta hoga. All this kind of, no, they were all, some from fashion, some from IT, some from marketing, management, every sector, that is their HR, every kind of person over there, business guys, youngsters who are running their own this thing, startup guys, everybody, all across the spectrum. So it's so amazing to see, people like that.
And Prakash, so many people are doing it because we have to book before 3 months, like Tatkal tickets on railways, literally,
Believe me,
in the sense like there is a waiting list.
Believe me, if you get a seat,
Go
consider
for it.
yourself the luckiest person, that you won $1 million or whatever. You can't put it in terms of money. It's a lifetime opportunity. Just do it once. My whole this thing to anyone, I told my son also, just go and do it. 10 days, just take a break from everything. Just go and sit there. And when you come out, you see how you will deal with things, It is just an amazing thing. It's like, it's at another level. Let me tell you. And this is no mumbo jumbo. This is not something, some miracle program where they'll give you some mantra and, you'll be able to sort of, recite that and, you get. No, it's hard work.
And do you think that Vipassana chooses you? You don't choose Vipassana.
Absolutely.
Vipassana chooses
I totally agree.
And when you're ready for it, a center is there for you. Literally,
Absolutely.
this center came for you.
It just fell into my lap. How could I say no, at that point of time? I would have been foolish to say no. And it came at a time when I was desperately seeking for something. I thought, I'll go into some place, and just spend, 10 days away from, humanity and everyone, and try to get my, focus back, on what I really need to do or what I want to do, all the frustrations and, all
just
the things that keep happening around you in family, in friends, in the whole, system out there, politically, this, everything starts, getting somewhere, starts building up. That's what it is. What we realize is just the top layer. There is so much lurking below. How do you reach that? How do you remove that from your system? That becomes a big problem. You don't know. Sometimes you just vent your frustration and you don't know where the frustration is actually building up. If you really go deeper and deeper, you start understanding the frustration has come, somewhere else. It's like, the switch is somewhere else and you are somewhere, the bulb is somewhere else, you're looking at the bulb and thinking the switch might be here only, since the bulb is here, and the switch is somewhere else. So you need to switch it off from there. So the whole point is that you need to do things, for yourself. And this whole program is about you. You're not doing it for anybody else. It's not that you go there and you're doing it for your wife, your son, your father, mother, brother, sister, friend, nothing. It is just for you. It's all about you. It's a self-improvement program.
Yeah. We both recommend Vipassana for everybody and may all get the blessings of Vipassana.
Yeah, and that's what they say, Sarva Mangalam Bhavatu.
Yeah.
That means let
May
the, goodness spread everywhere. Because they say if the surrounding is healthy,
Yeah.
You are healthy. If you have peace around you. So let everybody be peaceful. Let everything, everybody, the whole cosmos become peaceful, so that, you exist in that peace,
When everyone is happy around you.
Yeah, that's how it is. In a house, everybody is happy, everybody is, enjoying
Prospering.
life. So then you also enjoy life, you can't stay away from that. That goodness comes to you, So when you give that goodness out, it goes out to people also. So the whole thing is, at the end of the meditation, you have another, session where you sort of, pray for everyone, for the whole system out there,
Yeah.
So
when initially Prakash went to Vipassana, I thought he'll come back saying that, where are you sending me? I'll never listen to you. Don't send me for such programs. But when he came back, I saw that there is so much of a change in him, and he is actually become an advocate for Vipassana. And in fact, he asked for 30 days, like how to do 30 days. He also volunteered to help or assist. There is like wonderful. And so we thought we'll do this podcast and
this is
bring this
mental
information.
fitness at the highest level, and the whole thing is, it is about impermanence. Nothing is permanent. Even happiness is not permanent, even sadness is not permanent. So you have to just, tide through. And how do you tide through? How do you get it out? How do you let it go? How do you sort of, see, this is not something that you become a sage or a monk, tomorrow, I'll not be able to do business, I'll not be able to work.
You'll do better.
Oh, it's a complete, myth. If somebody tells you that, just don't believe it. You can do everything that you're doing, you'll just be sharper and you'll be better to deal with it.
And mentally you'll be in an equilibrium state.
Absolutely. If anything is going wrong in your life, or anything, you feel you're not able to control, you're not able to, get proper focus or things. This is like, it's a mind sharpening tool.
You'll be well equipped then.
Yeah, you'll just come out like a, better version. You become the Ultra Pro Max of whatever you wear, when
Now,
you walk out.
whomever we are going to meet, we are going to promote this.
Yeah,
But I think
absolutely.
in a like a wider range, we could
Why
reach
shouldn't
all of
we?
you through YouTube.
Who gives you, it's like somebody gives, the whole gold on earth for free, like, keep this. You can't put, this is not something, money or anything like that. It's just the way, how you deal with, things. How do you sort of, so if things are going wrong or they're going right, it doesn't matter. It's good time for any time to you to get in. And I think if you get in before you get into trouble, it is much better.
Yeah.
If it is good times and you think, oh, why do I need this now,
Yeah.
So, why do you need this now? It's a preemptive, preparedness. And when anything goes wrong, I will be mentally prepared. I know how to tackle this, what I should be doing,
So Prakash just came yesterday from Vipassana. I said before everything just dries up in your brain, just get it out and get it into a podcast.
I will not be able to forget. I will not be able to forget the people that I met, the people that I spoke to, their life experiences, the people who had done it for older times, the people who finished this program. After the program, when we were allowed to speak on the 10th day, when we are allowed to talk to each other, at that point of time, when that whole thing about, how they felt, what they, did, all the discussions.
Amazing.
And all, you can really understand that, how people are so, they're almost like in tears, trying to, how did I, get this?
So touched.
How did I not come,
Before.
earlier? Why was this not taught to me, right in school, maybe, This is like, amazing, very amazing, and I was really happy because I'm not a very, what you call a religious, ritual person by, I don't
in
like
yoga,
those.
meditation.
Yeah, so, I'm not that kind of a person at all, not a spiritual person, neither am I now. Because this thing doesn't demand spiritualism out of you. It doesn't demand that you go and, recite this or read this book, or this kind of a thing, or you become a follower of Buddha. Nothing is like that. So it has got nothing to do. It's just his teachings, that is how to do it. That he has found a way, that is how he became enlightened. So his enlightenment, how he did it. Because there were, as they say, there were a lot of Buddhas before Gautam Buddha. And there will be a lot of Buddhas after him.
Yeah.
So he is not the only Buddha.
Yeah.
There will be other Buddhas. But those Buddhas might just, go out, not really go out and try to, teach anyone or do anything like that. Because they are in their own bliss. They don't want to, get into, other people's lives or, disrupt anyone. So Gautama Buddha was the only person who did this. Who went out teaching people how to get it, how to do it, what is it, how do you sort of, get out of your miseries.
Getting back to your self-nature, I actually think, I remember one story in which one mother lion dies after giving birth to a cub. And that cub is all by itself when like a group of goats find it and take the cub to the forest to look after it. And the cub is thinking that I am also a goat and saying meh, meh, meh. And few days it is with the goat and it just feels I am a goat too. And then after some days there is one lion passing from there in search of food and is running after the goat and suddenly it sees that the cub is also running away from me. So then it is little curious and it catches the cub and says, "Arey, why are you running? तुम क्यों भाग रहे हो?" तो मैं भी go to मैं. And he gets furious like, "अरे तुम goat नहीं हो." He said, "No, I cannot come sit and explain. This fellow is not going to listen. He's only doing मैं. So he just takes him gently and takes him to the water and the reflection of that, like the river. The cub sees itself and it roars. Means it realizes itself. In the same way, I feel Vipassana just shows our true nature. Doesn't give any lecture, nothing. It just shows us our true nature.
Yeah. So sometimes getting rid of the problem is not as easy as we always. We have problems. Everybody has some this thing or other that they're trying to find a solution to. This is like one key, the master key that unlocks everything for you. It's not like it will unlock only one type of problem, one kind of issue that you can tackle with this. This is like a universal medication. It's like one pill. If somebody developed and said this cures every disease on the planet, This is like that one pill, which solves
Yeah.
all your behavioral issues, your,
Yeah.
social issues, your personal issues, your family related issues, or whatever issues you're facing with your kids, with your elders, with your friends, family, whatever, workplace, this is the golden key.
And I think we'll have to go for more than once. It's like
Yeah,
recharging,
yeah.
no?
And
How
once
we
you do
recharge
it,
the
now
phone
you
every
know,
time.
and you keep on practicing it, you become better at it,
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like, they give you a few seeds,
Yeah, yeah.
Now you plant it and you keep on, growing more,
Multiply it.
more out of it, You take 4 to 8 to 8 to 16, 16
Yeah.
to 36, the 32, sorry, and 64,
Yeah.
and go on like that, till there is no end to it. But the point is that you have to get those 4 seeds first. So you walk in and grab those 4 seats that are being given free to you.
Yeah.
You are not even paying. The only cost that you have is to travel to that place and back. That's it. That is the only cost that you will be in. And of course, your time.
Of
10
course.
days of, going away from people, not being able to communicate to anyone, not reading those messages, not calling
It's
up
a
anyone.
luxury.
It's like you will realize, how much you think that you're dependent on all this, if
Yeah.
these things go away, you'll not be able to survive,
Survive.
It's like absolutely, and the whole thing is it's such a timetable that what you're doing, the next, few hours you have to eat. Now, you have eaten, you eat immediately, like, there's a 45-minute break for eating. So what you'll do, you'll try to finish off as early as possible because you'll get that much more time to go and have a nap. So, what you do is like, 45 minutes, so I'll finish in 20, 25 minutes, and then rush to the room, go off, have a nap for
Relax
nice,
for a while, yeah.
the 45-minute nap then becomes a 1 hour, more than a 1 hour nap, So what happens, you get up and you're fully recharged, then again you head back into the hall and, again you start meditating. So it goes on like, so the program is so well done. I never saw somebody who was like, falling apart.
Yeah.
I never saw somebody exhausted, completely worn out. Everybody was fresh. Every day you could see people walking around. They're all like, having a nice walk, outside, as soon as they have their lunch or, this thing, they are taking a nice walk because when the meditation, say 1 hour ends, they give you a 5-minute break. So you can go out and, so people go out, walk around. Nobody is like sitting somewhere, I'm like tired now, I can't do it anymore. No. And all of these guys are like, young guys and all. Just imagine the kind of life they are leading is like full excitement all the time. They are doing something or the other. For those people to sit at one place, it's like putting a baby and asking it to be, planted in one place. It's not going to be easy.
You were saying that a proper SOP kind of a thing.
Absolutely. They have done this for years and they have really understood the mentality of people, what we will do, where, how we have to, provide for them, what we have, everything so well done, and the best part is that you don't have anything, you start thinking, what are they getting? And there is no answer to that. What are they getting? Nothing. They are just coming as volunteers, working and going. There was this guy who was from a middle class family. He traveled from Aurangabad to Goa to do seva. And this is his 14th time that he is doing it.
And he came and donated
And
also.
at the end of the program, everybody is donating. He went and, about 1,000, 2,000 rupee, 500 rupee note he paid there, he gave it to them, donation. Just imagine, guy who comes from an ordinary life, he's got nothing. And it is not a religious place. He's not going to get any blessings out of it. It's not like, the usual system is that you go and, you give an offering and you will get something bigger,
It's like he's paying to volunteer.
Yeah. So this is like, you do something just for your own peace. At the end of the day, they know, okay, if I, sit here and I meditate along with these guys, I'm going to benefit out of it. So even if I have to pay a cost, what is it? I have given seva, I have helped that system. Then I am also, giving some money from my pocket, and I got 10 days of, complete, rejuvenation of my this thing. Because the sevaks also still, they also meditate.
Yeah.
In between they'll get up and, do whatever, if they have to close the curtain or there's a light coming in or, something
I think
like
they also have their own training programs. Because they're going from one level to another.
They do it. And then they are also preparing themselves to do the bigger programs. Because there's mandatory to do a seva when you want to migrate from say 10 days to 30 days to 45, 60 and 90.
Very good.
So you have to do seva is a part of that. You can't just go for program to program and say, okay, now I qualify for the next level. No, you don't.
I think we are the lucky ones who can say, "Der aaye what durust."
Durust hai. Oh, it's never too late. That people should never think.
Yeah,
now
it should
I'm
have
not
come
for
little
it.
early, but I think
Yeah, never
we-
think that
yeah,
way.
we
You know,
got
that
it.
now I'm now what I know, nothing can be done about me. No. Nobody's terminal.
At least we got it.
Okay, so whatever it is, just go and
Yeah.
take it. And this is available. I don't know how many years this will go on, how many, whether it will be able to sustain like this. So
Yeah.
just grab it till the time it's available. I'll tell you, you'll thank yourself for doing it. Don't thank me. I don't need it.
Yeah.
You can pass it on to somebody else.
Yeah.
And you will thank yourself that you did it at the
Yeah,
end of
yeah.
the day.
I think parents, for example, we are parents, so I think our child should do it. So I think when parents do it, we can also inspire our children to do it, because we have seen the benefits. More people do it, more peaceful the world is going to
Yeah,
be.
I
So
gave my son a
thank
full-
you, Prakash, for doing this podcast. Yeah, and you are saying you.
Yeah, I
you
gave a
lecture.
full-on pitch to my son, that I was trying to sell him this, kind of, as if I'm getting some, paid by these people, or something like that, which is-
Initially, I was doing that for
yeah,
you.
no, she was pumping, and I'm thinking like, what is this happening here? Like, why are you pushing me into, something, this, kind of mumbo jumbo kind of stuff,
I was telling
which
you,
might-
agar hum rasgulla khaye and we love it, and then we'll want our loved one also to do it. Taste कर लेना बहुत मस्त है, like that. When I got Vipassana, I'm like, अरे ये बहुत सही है, लेना थोड़ा taste कर लेना please.
Yeah, now I'm just waiting for the next program to happen, so that I can just go back.
Amazing, it is like
yeah.
amazing. Prakash is saying that.
It's a transformative
I'm so
process.
surprised.
It's a transformative.
Yeah.
Just believe me.
So thank you for this podcast, and I hope and wish we
Thank
can
you
do
for
much
listening.
more programs
Thank you for
like
spending
this.
your 45-50 minutes with us.
Yeah.
And
It is a slow podcast, nothing quick.
yeah, nothing.
You
going
can
well.
run it on
Impromptu.
1.5 and
Yeah,
can
you
finish
can
off in
just
25 minutes.
Jump
but
skip whatever you feel like,
Yeah.
but don't jump skip the program.
this is what we felt, and we
Yeah.
brought it heart to heart. Thank you so much.
Thanks everyone.
Bye.